This is getting interesting. Recently, I've seen a lot of situations where bugs or glitches happen and then Star Stable conveniently shoves the responsibility onto the player. I'm here to tell you today that it is never your fault. It is extremely rarely your fault. And whenever you have a problem with the game, it is Star Stable's responsibility to fix it. No matter how big or small those bugs are, it is their product and it is their responsibility. This video will be split into two sections. The first section, we will look at the various bugs that are currently in Star Stable. And in the second video, I'm going to be exploring how Star Stable handles customer service and how they conveniently try and shove all responsibility onto the players. And also how you can handle those people and what you should do when they start doing that. I'm starting with the bugs because I want to show to you how many problems there are in the game. And when you have a problem that is a serious problem, the issue most likely will lie with Star Stable. The sheer amount of bugs, issues and glitches popping up recently has become worrying to say the least. Despite not boasting the titanic amount of game issues than say Skyrim or Fallout or the more recent Grand Theft Auto fiasco, no one can really deny that SSO is seemingly trying very hard to catch up. Now, bugs are part of games. In games with large codes, it is halfway expected to have some sort of issue every now and then. Codes in a game will eventually find some contradicting variable or function, and you'll see a bug or glitch during gameplay. Some are funny, some exploitable, some are game-breaking, and some are downright devastating. But we'll get to that. But in short, having bugs is fine. But having too many can certainly ruin the experience of a game, as many people have come forward and shown to me, one after the other. SSO is starting to border on a ruined experience. Just look at the Halloween event. Disappearing worlds, doppelgangers, unable to pick up items, disappearing items, unable to launch, unable to full screen, full horror galloper, random Sabine, water bug, sleep riding, sleep lying, sneak peeks, disappearing fridge, portal trolling. But at least we got a shirt. Without any stats.
Oh wow, thank you so much!
The number of bugs are growing and expanding at an exponential rate. No player can go into a session without coming across at least one bug, and some players like myself recently can't even get into the game at all. But how damaging are these bugs really? Well, they can most likely wipe out your stable.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
You've heard of these instances when a player loses all of their horses, their gear and cash in a single night. This is not a case of their profile being hacked or a password they shared, but instead the profile was simply bugged. I'm most certainly not the first person who has thought this, but I understand some skepticism is probably already setting in. And I don't blame you. It seems to be a bit of a leap on the surface, but not really that far-fetched when we consider all the facts. There are two things that we simply cannot deny. One, that this is not an uncommon occurrence, especially recently. They seem to be popping up everywhere, and keep in mind, these are the ones that we know of. And the second point we can all agree on is that SSO has, at least in the past year, become more buggy than ever. Overall, these bugs have been really annoying, but not game-breaking or devastating, until now. Before we look at the cases of horses and items disappearing, I would like to show to you how many other players are coming forward with issues that are just as serious, just to highlight how broken this game has gotten over the past few years. One player contacted me a month or so ago about her game that just doesn't work anymore. In short, when she entered into the game, she couldn't see other players, she couldn't interact with them, and this continued on for well over a month, with Star Stable simply not fixing it. It eventually did fix itself though. This is what we call a game-breaking bug. It might be a very unique bug, but a unique bug can become a common one in future. But this is still not the end of the story. Her friend also had a serious issue with her star coins. Some of you will remember the player who was dropped into debt a few months ago and SSO just turned their backs on her. This has much the same ring to it. Her friend bought 5,000 star coins, and a few hours later all the coins simply just disappeared out of her account. As you can imagine, Star Stable wasn't all that helpful. Again, these are just outright bugs, but this is still not the end of the story. Another player contacted me on Insta with some serious allegations towards SSO. Essentially, money was being withdrawn from her bank account into SSO and she couldn't stop the payments. SSO had to stop the payments on their end and they simply refused to. She had to physically close down the account to stop the payments. Xavier told me the exact same story with her sister this time, where she tried to cancel the subscription, but SSO refused to cancel it and did not issue a refund. If we consider my own issue almost 5 years ago, when my account was also charged again despite asking them to cancel it, we see another pattern. I was also not issued a refund, but they did give me a gift which they revoked later. Once is chance, twice is coincidence, third time's a pattern. If we consider all of these bugs and then look at the disappearing items and horses again, then the theory that they are also bugs is suddenly not that far-fetched anymore. With the amount of players that are coming forward with items, horses and cash disappearing, it is becoming far more likely to be a bug than any fault on the player's end. Let's just look at November alone. On the 1st of November 2021, someone posted on Reddit that their daughter's horses and her friend's items and cash had disappeared overnight. According to the poster, SSO did reinstate the horses. On the 10th of November 2021, another player came forward with the exact same problem. All her horses except for her trainer and starter horse had disappeared. SSO reinstated the horses. On the 14th of November, another player came forward with the same problem. Like the others, she claims she has never shared her password. As of making this video, I don't know if the horses had been reinstated. Once is chance, twice is coincidence, third time's a pattern. As we can see, this has happened far more than 3 times in less than a month, and so I wholeheartedly believe this is a bug. But to be fair, let's take a look at the other possibilities. We don't want to throw them out willy-nilly. So most of the people believe that these are just kids who are careless with their accounts. This is also what SSO believes. Okay, let's go with that outset. Maybe it is the players. Maybe they really do share their accounts and someone gets spiteful in their life and decides to sell off their horses. But then we have to believe that everyone that comes forward and says that they just didn't share their passwords are liars.
Liar!
And I find that point difficult to believe, that everyone is lying. And that secondly, everyone who shares a password has someone that malicious in their life to do this. It's a lot you have to convince yourself of, and then you have to believe that this happens a lot. If this was a once in a blue moon occurrence, I would be more inclined to believe it was player negligence, but that simply isn't the case. It's becoming a common occurrence. I personally used to believe that these were just hackers. The people hack into the game to steal your stuff, sell your horses and run off cackling like a madman. But the thing is, why would they do that? A hacker is essentially someone who wants to get an edge in the game. Not all hackers, but most of them. Hackers essentially hack into games to either get money or to get items that will give them a monetary or gameplay edge. But let's look at Star Stable and see if this is even possible. Let's say I want to get an edge in the game. So I get your password, I hack into your stable, I sell some of your items and all of your horses, and that's it. SSO has no feature to share items with friends, to send money to bogus accounts, or to move items into my own account, which makes them a useless thing to hack. You can't really make money in SSO with hacking. Unless I'm doing this to hurt you, the benefits are simply not worth it. So if these accounts were not hacked, their passwords were not shared, and seeing as it is such a common occurrence, 3 times a pattern, we have to go with the conclusion it's a bug, which means this can happen to anyone. No! And that's a terrifying thought. It means that when the game bugs out and you lose all your horses, the customer service is simply just going to blame you for the situation and simply will not reinstate the horses, unless you keep pushing them. Which means that SSO is essentially blaming you for their broken game, and that is not acceptable. This goes beyond small glitches at this point. There is a fundamental instability in this game that is targeting the players' accounts, their money pockets so to speak. Not maliciously I believe, but certainly a problem big enough to warrant some serious concern. Glassdoor reviews reveal that they have some serious tech debt. Now they have promised they're going to fix that eventually, let's cross our fingers. What this tells us is that Star Stable is extremely buggy. There are serious problems in the fundamental coding of the game. Whether this has to do with the outdated engine or just Star Stable's overall negligence, really we can't say, we don't work there. But it does show to you that when something goes wrong, it is rarely your fault. It is most of the time bugs in the code that is causing these issues, and as a result, it is Star Stable's responsibility to fix it. But as you will see in the next video, they are very reluctant to do anything about the problems in their game, and they are systematically choking the life out of it through their negligence and blame shifting.